It is, as always, a pleasure to join you and be joined by you. Um, wow. So last time we were here, we did do a full blown recap of nearly 3 years of information, including the section before our other campaign sigil. So anybody who's been watching should be nice and caught up by now, and I feel like we are as well. Would anyone like to catch us up as far as real quick where we are right now?
We lie directly off the coast of the uh, sort of northeastern shore of the interior Gulf of Cairn. Very, very near to the settlement of Stonebridge, home and final redoubt of the Hyverstedians.
This is correct. This is correct, and that was your chosen port of call.
Yes, we are in need of some supplies on our longer term quest to the domes of the Shining Eyes. We've managed to pick up a little bit in the way of provisions, but we could use some more, and we could especially use some coal to fire this steam engine.
Very true. And Stonebridge would definitely be a prime place for that to happen.
Yes, we have picked up one passenger on purpose, and maybe one not so much on purpose.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so on purpose, we have a mysterious Shanakesian woman, I believe.
Ashling, yeah.
Ashlyn. Uh, Listeners a little bit suspicious of her, but everybody else seems to like her all right.
She's very sweet.
Yes. Also mysteriously alive and fine after maybe being on this island for hundreds of years. So maybe that's okay.
It's normal.
Maybe that's normal. Maybe that's fine. We also don't know exactly where old Sticky Bones has gotten to. He could be anywhere.
This is true. Could be on the ship with you.
Could be on the ship, could be clinging to the outside of the ship. He doesn't seem to be as bothered by the water as many of the locals.
But this is true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. That's good. Sorry. So, here we are in the black, toxic, icy cold waters of the Ephemeral Sea in the northeastern quadrant of our generalized map, fast approaching the singular capital of the Hyverstedians, Stonebridge, a vast walled city made of stone within stone, covered in perpetual snow and ice, at the very foot of the God's Teeth Mountains and the edge of the water itself. As you navigate the Orti, are you're starting, as we said, there was a lot of issue in the water. There's a lot of wreckage, a lot of danger. And as you came up, I believe we had just breached the surface again. You broke ice when you did, showing you that the temperature here has turned most likely lethally cold if anyone were to get in the water, although the water's pretty lethal to begin with.
It wouldn't have been great no matter the season.
This is true. So we'll pick up from right there. So the Orti breaches the ice. Everyone within feels the shudder and the lurch forward of the impact, and hear the sound of that strange reverberating, echoing cracking that the ice makes as it splits apart to release the Orti from below the black depths of the sea. Ahead you see the walls of Stonebridge, or now, of course, and here I have visuals. Dun, dun, dun. The walls of Stonebridge are formidable, stretching just hundreds of meters in height. They're vastly thick, peppered with defensive towers here and there, and lined with the cannoneers famous for the defense of the walls themselves. As you breach and the walls come into view, is anyone doing anything particular?
Shoveling coal or
I'm
pumping
glad
iron.
you asked.
What's
So glad you asked. I am fresh off of the high of meeting my DC last time to figure out what was going on with the staff. Genesis is gonna just kind of put the staff back into some canvas or something and wrap it up and put it away essentially. And then just kind of casually walk out of the barracks. No big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I can find, I'm gonna go back upstairs. Just kind of lean against the wall.
All right. Casually.
Very, very casual. Just totally.
And
Oh, hello, first mate.
Hey.
And anyone else? Uki, where are you at? I know this is probably exciting for you.
Yes, I'm going to go up to the top because we do have. I guess the question is, we have a we have a manway on the top, right? That we can open up and pop out that way.
Yeah.
Well, you have the bubble dome where the cockpit is on the top,
Uh-huh.
and there is a
Right.
hatch in the back of that dome that leads out onto the surface of the Orti.
Yeah, somebody on my gear, including my rucksack, and go up to there to prepare to. I think it's in our best interest that before we take the Orti ashore, that we pop the hatch and check for signals. And so I will, in preparation of opening the hatch and getting on top, I'm going to take out my spear. I'm going to take my spear and I'm going to tie to it my clan banner
All right.
and have that ready to go. And would you, let's see, will you share my clan banner in to the channel in the group?
Yes, I will happily do that.
Ooh.
I
I didn't expect we'd have an actual banner.
We do.
I have a clan. We have there's a High Vestidian banner. This is my actual clan banner.
There's an image there in Discord. For those of you with your
Ooh, fancy.
For those of you at home watching who have the premium subscription, you should also be able to see it.
So the clan banner is something that typically during actual battle, it would be affixed to the back of my armor, or also sometimes what we have are these kind of short pole staffs that are on the back of the armor, and the banner will fly from. But this is something that I've not, I've kind of kept with me and not had out, but knew that this is essentially how my clan and I can be identified from afar or on a field of battle.
Okay. So, as Uki is doing this, and I assume you're up in the cockpit doing this, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
As Uki is affixing her banner, right off the bat, and all of you hear this, those of you near windows will also see the flash of it. You hear this three-pronged report. Boom, 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 as three cannons fire off. You see a bright streaking tracer of the projectile that they fire shooting into the sky and then detonate in a just brilliant flash of light. Strangely enough, that flash of light lingers, and it appears as though some type of cloth has been deployed from the projectile, and the burning orb of whatever it is made of is actually floating down, following a arcing trajectory over the water, lighting up the entire area, including the Orti. Within moments, you hear drums begin to pound in 5/4 time, which is an odd meter.
Can I ask a quick question? When Shillelagh was, I'm guessing Shillelagh was on board, like, the Orsi at some point, right?
Nope.
Or did we get the Orsi after?
She passed away long before the Orti.
She would have been when we were traveling with Archibald, not.
She passed away in the very first dungeon you went into.
Prior
Okay.
to Archibald, prior to Abattoir, prior to all that.
Okay, so we definitely wouldn't have like a second set of clothing or anything similar.
No,
to
that was...
blend in with. Okay.
Okie mine.
And so as I would say that this is definitely something that I should be able to recognize.
The drums, yeah, they're talking.
Okay.
So yeah, it begins to beat in a 5/4 time. Just this pounding, dum 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 dum. Every now and then, this pounding is broken by a thunderous peal of what must be an enormous horn. Boom, dun 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 dun.
Okay. Do I need to go ahead and roll intelligence or something else to recognize what that drum is, or do I pretty much just know? This is essentially, there's a warning. It's simply a unknown vessel approaching. I mean, this is just going to be innate, intuitively knowledge that she will have.
The war song,
Yeah.
it's not terribly detailed. It's more of a it generates directional movement, threat level type stuff, and occasionally numbers. What you're gathering from what you're hearing so far is that a presence has been reported on the water.
Mm-hmm.
They're awaiting orders on how to respond.
And so Uki's response is to state, "Yeah, I need to probably get out of the hatch quick and let them know that we are friendlies. I was not expected to be returning so quickly to Stonebridge, and definitely not via a vessel such as this.
Okay.
So I'd like to pop the hatch and go ahead and get on top of the Orti and wave my my banner."
All right.
Well, Uki does that. Genesis is gonna do some thing, if that's okay.
What are you doing?
Find the thing. Oh, I don't have it. Come on.
What are you trying to do?
Mask of Obscurity?
Okay. To do what specifically?
Just to kind of fade into the background,
Just you individually?
right?
Okay. All right. That's fine.
I
So
can only use it on myself, right?
yeah, well, I mean, your powers are very, very varied. Potentially you could do more, but it would take a lot more energy to do so.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that's fine. You fade into the background, become unobtrusive. Uki steps through the hatch. Anybody else doing anything? I don't want to walk on anybody.
I am bringing us to rest, not advancing towards the wall.
Okay. So Uki, you begin kind of waving your banner, in the air, trying to get the attention of the watchers on the wall. The drums continue, still pierced by the occasional horn. And then a vocal accompaniment rises up from the wall. This strange keening song begins to go back and forth, and it's in Hyverstedian, specifically Hyverspeak. Anybody who doesn't actually speak Hyverspeak won't grasp the nuance. but they are kind of communicating back and forth, and what they're saying isn't blatant, even in the hyperspeak. However, Uki, you understand that what they are saying is that they have recognized your banner as a friendly, and they are actually singing to you that you need to move fast, that you are not alone.
Okay.
And as that message is relayed, the cannons begin to go off like rumbling thunder that is about to end the world. You see the flashes of the reports from these huge cannons just going off, and the projectiles flying over the Orti, just doom, 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 just crazy, deafening sound.
So I'm going to take my banner and basically just do like three quick jabs to my right, just but basically boom, boom, boom to show basically the acknowledgement, kind of like the acknowledging,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to drop down in, close the hatch, and say, we've got company behind us.
Mm-hmm. All right.
We've got to move. I was able to communicate with my brethren, and they're saying we are not alone, and we need to move it fast. Let's get onto land.
I begin to fire back up the legs.
All right. Is anyone looking? Just
Yeah.
curious.
Oh, look, why not?
I'm just curious. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
Saoirse's looking.
All right. Anybody looking back the way you came? Well,
I could not be. That would have to just be Lenway, probably.
Yeah.
I am going to go down to the second floor to the cannons, which have been prepped and ready, because that's the first thing I did whenever we got back on the Orti, and did all the repairs earlier.
Okay.
It's going to go down, and depending on which way we're facing, and did they kind of give any indication of whether it was starboard or port or just directly behind us?
Behind you.
Okay.
Which means the cannons, if you're moving forward facing and they're directly behind you, won't be able to get too much of a shot off unless they get around you.
Yeah,
But
that's
still,
true.
it never hurts to be prepared.
Yeah, because if we can't get off the Orti before they overcome us, then then if they overcome us, we can use cannons.
Okay.
So
So
we do a lot better with the cannons than against a boarding party, that's for sure.
So
Exactly.
those of you who do look back, what you see behind you is this swirling mass of void energy. And it's not an uncommon sight, because not too far out there is the Blight hovering, in sight. But it seems like it's just like a fog rolled in behind you. And as you watch closely, you see this breaking of these masts coming through the fog. Ship masts, black as night, with shimmering sails with a soft violet hue, drifting across the water, moving through the fog, breaking through with swirling eddies. There's at least a dozen ships back there, and they are making a break for you. The cannons are still going. Doom, doom, doom.
Alright, so they're coming right at us, correct?
Yes.
I will pull us up and prepare for an enfilade shot. Because they're coming at us, they probably don't have nearly as many frontal cannons as we have, cannons along the side. I'm going to line Uki up to take the shot.
Well, before you do, have you seen them?
Ooh, good question. I'll glance back.
Okay. Anybody who glances back and has seen them is welcome to make a history check.
I love making checks.
If you want. Cranky, we may have that TPK. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you haven't seen yet how much damage Church has a cannonball do.
But yeah, anybody who looks back to see, oh, good. Look at you guys.
Aha.
Listener still got it.
Mm-hmm. I don't even need the collector
Totally
for this
don't
one.
cheat. Genesis.
Nope.
Not quite on the ball with this one. That's okay. You're
My
busy
mind is
being
on other things.
yeah.
I'm focusing on other stuff.
You're busy being obscured.
Yeah, just chilling in the corner.
So,
Yes.
Saoirse, Lenway, and listener,
Yes.
it registers instantly that you are looking at the Black Armada, the legendary ghost fleet that haunts the edges of the Blight.
Yeah, I figured from like out of character. I was like, this sounds like a recent history entry that went up on World Anvil.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is the Black Armada.
That's bad. That's bad, actually.
It's very bad. So do you still want to turn, or do you want to...
Well, I have to turn no matter what, because we can't go through the wall and we can't retreat, obviously. But instead of pausing
We've
and
got
waiting...
legs. Can we spider climb the wall?
No.
Are you sure? Has the Orty tried?
Well, what I
The
can
Orty...
do...
Yeah, what you got?
I'm going to bring us to a map, an overhead map of Stonebridge.
Okay.
So you can kind of see, because it has some of the land and whatnot too. You should have it on your screens there.
Gotcha.
So the wall literally, as you remember from the image I showed you, literally like runs pretty much along the water's edge.
Mm-hmm.
There is an opening north and south that you could beach. It's rocky terrain. You might drag the bottom a bit here and there, but it gets you out of the water.
That's what I'm thinking here. Which one are we closer to?
South.
Where has the Orty landed? Then southwards we will go.
Okay. So you're booking south?
Yep.
Booking south.
Okay.
We get up to a pretty good clip on this thing.
All right. So give me a survival roll, please, listener, just as you're navigating the Orty.
Sure.
Is the navigator's downstairs now? He just kind of left some info with you, didn't he?
What?
The navigator would be Lenway. You're thinking of the engineer?
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to keep him around when I'm piloting.
Is he with you, or is he just on the Orty?
He's just on the Orty. He hangs around, but I'm not channeling him actively. I haven't burned the ability to do so. I might
Okay.
for this, quite frankly.
It's all good. It's up to you. A standard survival roll if you're not.
Okay, me and him are friendly, and this is kind of what I do anyways. I reach out to the engineer, and I say, "Friend, we must go quickly." And I will use my spectral invocation.
Okay. Since you guys are old chums at this point, I won't make you roll. He's not going to resist you. So yeah, he kind of takes over the driver's seat. The specter from below. Hey, Wolfskin. Thanks for joining us. He takes over the driver's seat, and you guys feel this the Orty just shift gears. Those crawlers down below just go into like high gear. He's pulling steam from somewhere that listener hasn't really figured out yet. This is one of those long-term old salty vet tricks he's pulling.
He designed this nonsense, and then he spent several years learning how to break it in the correct fashion.
Exactly. So everybody feels a boost of acceleration. The Orty just gets moving, and this thing moves rapidly already. So you're cruising. You easily outpace the Black Armada, which turns at some point. Although, strangely, those of you who may have been watching do not see the cannon fire actually land a single hit. It's almost as if it's passing through the ships. But at the same time, they themselves do not fire. So as they drift soundlessly, without leaving a single wake in the water, the fog, the black ominous fog that they crawled out of seems to drift with them, and they fade once again back into the blight as you beach the Orti south of Stonebridge. With a very abrupt you're bottoming out.
Yeah, at this point, I think Saoirse is going to go and rouse Aisling because we are on land. It is time for her to wake up.
Okay. So,
Before the ships vanish, finally, may I make a quick check?
Sure, what you got?
I want to know if they are themselves spirits. Is it a ghost ship or is it a ghost ship?
Interesting question. And are you using a particular ability for this, or?
No, just the default
Okay.
spectral awareness. I'm able to perceive the difference between physical things and spirits.
Okay. Give me a perception roll.
Gotcha. There you go.
Okay, it's not too bad. There seems to be some trepidation in you coming to a defined decision on this. It is definitely spectral in nature, but there's far too much physicality to it. There's something different, something strange about it that sets it aside from the standard apparitional spectral entities that you're used to dealing with.
I comment to Genesis, who's up here with me. What a strange sort of spiritual phenomenon. I suspect that if they had shot us, it would have hurt. Not normally a problem with ghosts.
Do you look over at me? Or,
Of course.
Like,
We're on land now. I look
because I'm
over at you.
intentionally like trying not to be noticed, using an ability not to be noticed.
Does your ability affect my psychic connections, though, is the question.
Only if you sever it intentionally. Did you sever the ability?
No, I didn't sever anything. It's still up. I'm allowed to have it up.
No. Sever the communication with listener.
I wasn't talking to him.
That's what I mean. Like, he's opening the mental link to talk to you.
Yeah. I don't usually have to perceive people to do that.
He doesn't
So how does that
actually.
work?
He doesn't have eyes. If you're intentionally hiding from him by severing the link that you have with him, then yeah, he wouldn't know where you are.
Yeah, then I would try and talk to you, and I'd just go, I thought I could have sworn Genesis was here.
That's why I'm asking. Like, you have the ability to do that, but it would have to be an intentional thing.
Yeah, I think I would, just to like continue to not be noticed.
Okay. So yeah, basically, you send out the information, and you're met with like free floating thought that goes nowhere.
I remember Genesis coming up. Unusual. Very unusual today.
There's
Very.
just some random in the cockpit, lol.
Who is that? Attack!
Yeah.
No.
I feel like since you're a mentalist and you can just like blank yourself off a lot better than your average person to a psychic connection, I may not even perceive you.
Most likely.
Not even as a rando. It's just like
You'd probably have an easier time
wall.
hiding from him than most.
Hmm.
So, real quick, just because Saoirse said she was going down to find Aisling, you round the corner to go down the corridor where the bunk rooms are,
Yeah.
and as you round the corner, she's literally just standing there, like hands clasped in front of her, smiling at you.
Oh, you're awake.
Well, sure, dear. There was a bit of a commotion.
Well, we actually just made landfall, so your timing is actually impeccable.
Oh. Imagine. Back on the mainland after all this time. I'm quite excited. Where are we?
We are in the Valley of the God's Teeth Mountains at a location called Stonebridge. It's
Oh.
where the Hyverstedians have set up their society. The Hyverstedians, of course, being the old soldiers from before the Blight and people like Uki who you met.
Fascinating. Well, I can't wait to see this. Shall we go ashore?
Well, of course. Let's wait for everyone else, so.
Oh, I'm very excited.
So she will lead her to where everyone else is gathering.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan. All right, where is everyone gathering?
I'll be upstairs, bringing the legs down to a rest so we can disembark more easily.
Okay.
I would guess upstairs in the cockpit, considering there's a good number of people here. Well, not Lenway, because he's getting his horsey ready to get off the ship, which I don't know what that entails.
The horse was also up here.
Yeah,
his horsey.
There was a small gathering up here earlier, so unless he's just swiping some of Archibald's hay and giving them head pats before he leaves, I don't know.
Everybody gets head pats.
Nice.
All right, I just wanted to grab this.
We're gonna be on land, so he's gonna be on his horse.
Just wanted to put the Orti on the map there.
Very good, very good.
All right, so more or less everyone's gathering then, I assume.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you disembark the Orti, I assume you are disembarking, yes?
That is the plan. How's the atmosphere outside for me? I imagine it's very unpleasant.
It is extremely unpleasant for everyone, except
I'm gonna
Uki.
go find my old traveling cloak from the desert.
Genesis would like to do the same and grab the staff.
Okay.
Like, try to fit that in with the inventory and kind of shroud herself in like those old desert clothes and be as casual as possible. Still keeping with the whole no big deal. This is fine.
All right. So it's to give you some estimate of what you're dealing with as you step out of the Orti. It's probably about somewhere between -15 and -20 degrees
So
Jesus.
Celsius.
Nicholas mask and desert mask. Got it.
It's
No,
freezing.
this is more like if we don't get into a building in the next 30 minutes, somebody's gonna die.
Very possibly. And thanks.
Me, probably.
You guys have a reroll out there from Cranky. Thank you, Cranky.
Hey.
So, as you disembark, everyone's kind of gathering what they can to bundle up. The only one that seems really unfazed and grinning ear to ear about it is Uki.
Yeah, I had my pack ready to go when we were up top, so I'm just kind of, hopping foot to foot, ready to get in. I put my goggles on because, everyone, make just FYI, a little snow blindness. Make sure that doesn't help protect your eyes and your face from the cold and the wind.
Listener is in the middle of, like, cutting a strip of cloth that was just rough burlap, and he's wrapping his face entirely in it like a mummy. He says, "Thank you for the caution, Uki. I believe I shall worry more about my face than my eyes."
So, where are you exiting exactly? Are you going through the moon pool, or are you going out the top hatch and crawling down? Where are we exiting?
I've lowered us down so we can get out of the moon pool without, falling a long distance, but you still have to walk out from under the Orti. It's probably safer, but...
No, that's fine.
Either or.
So, yes, it does count as physically damaging weather. As you're lowered down, you are met with the sight of a complement of about 25 Fusiliers. The Stonebridge Fusiliers are fairly famous. They're remarkable marksmen, all of them. Uki, of course, you know who they are. You probably recognize a few of them. Despite Uki's presence, at least 15 of them have their rifles trained on you as you come down. This is a guarded stance, not a threatening one. For those of you who have empathic abilities, they're not afraid of you. This is a routine thing, is what it feels like. The platform settles. You've been dying to use that one.
These are mostly going to be common folk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy.
The only problem with this is, are you still obfuscated?
Well, it's not invisibility. It's just
Yeah,
the ability to kind of blend in with everybody else, right?
But yeah, but that's the thing. If you're blending in with everybody else, your rustic hospitality isn't going to stand out.
It doesn't need to, you know? Just living with the vibe, right? Like,
We'll let that play in if you interact with any of them directly.
fair enough.
But it's good that you put it out there. Now I know. I remember that you have it.
Just vibing with everybody, right? Yeah.
Sup, guys? How you doing?
Sa, dude.
So the platform settles on the snow, the hard packed icy snow, and almost as if practiced, almost as if choreographed, a line forms as the Fusiliers, like 2 by 2, like turn and draw their rifles up against their bodies and allow this hulking, armored individual to walk through.
All right, question for you.
Yes,
How big are they? Because the Hyverstedians run a little big.
they're big. They're big.
Are they bigger than me? Because Listener has piled so much cloth on top of himself that he's probably gained most of a foot in height and a lot of bulk.
Well, this guy, the big guy that's walking through, is probably about 6'7", 6'8".
Still got him.
I'm still looking down on him then.
Yeah, he's a big dude though. Like wide.
I've no doubt, but Az and I, we're both a little uncommon of build.
This is true. This is a brick shit house though coming at you.
I believe.
In fact, I have a picture. Would you like to see?
Yeah.
Look at this absolute unit.
Oh, that's a large lad.
Oh my god.
He's too big for the picture frame.
Gotta zoom this out.
We're meeting the big important one.
Yeah, he stalks through the opening line, eyes completely focused on Uki. And stops as he reaches the edge of the circle, looking you all over.
Greetings. I have returned sooner than expected. And I have companions that I hope you will welcome into our home and show hospitality.
He rather gruffly looks at all of you, kind of one by one, almost sizing you each up. And then
Gotta look up for at least 2 of them.
Yeah, he gives a salute to Uki, an arm across the chest, and says, "Do you take responsibility for them?"
She kind of warily looks at the ghostly being that's joined us recently, and said, "I can't for all my human."
We're like 10% human, this party.
Thank you as a human.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't-
thank
I-
you.
I can trust Wilhelm, and the rest of them I don't know about.
Genesis is a human.
I have entrusted.
Who?
I have entrusted. I trust them with my life, and think that and believe that I can vouch for them. I will say there's a spectral being that has not shown any evil demeanor to us, and has been quite helpful.
Are you talking about Aisling?
Yes.
No, she's not spectral. She's flesh and
She's
bone.
not spectral. Okay, she is spectral. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
She's spooky.
She's
but-
just spooky.
All right.
Yeah. But I will say, I'm not really comfortable with just letting Aisling go running loose through Stonebridge.
Are you saying that out loud?
I'm saying, yes, I can vouch for most of my travel companions here. I will say Aisling joined us recently, so perhaps she might need a little additional assistance. And kind of signal to one of the guards that are there. Essentially, yes, you can come in, but you will be accompanied by a guard.
So, two of the Fusiliers will step forward and immediately stand on either side of Aisling, who looks surprised. Jorgen once again salutes and nods at you and says, "All are equal under the blade."
All are equal under the blade, grandfather.
Good. You will answer for their crimes if they commit any. Follow me.
Crimes? Come now.
Grandfather.
He turns around and starts walking back towards the massive stone gate of Stonebridge.
That's your Oh, wait. Jeez. Okay. That's your grandfather. So he's that big and old enough to be a grandfather.
Well, he's not actually my grandfather. You're asking. I assume you're asking Uki this.
Genesis is kind of just reacting in their own sort of in their own sort of little world because they've unintentionally used the thing and like
What?
they're in a moment and they're like
He
Wait,
has.
what?
He has. Well, after the demise of my own father, he took me under his wing because I was very close with some of his grandchildren, who you will meet, I'm sure, while we're here. And now we're following in.
Yeah, if you are.
Okay.
Just lumber after.
All right.
Yeah, we'll follow him in.
All right. So the Fusiliers form basically an escort around you. They shoulder their weapons and follow after this gentleman who has yet to be technically introduced, though I think most of you have figured out who this is.
Yeah.
He's a man of few words for the most part. He's very direct and concise, and for the most part, he's kind of a speak when spoken to, but not that it's not that it's about it's more so about just be direct, right? Is his thing. So
Oh yeah, that's a very Iverstedian thing. Like don't
Yeah.
don't butter me up. Just tell me what you want.
exactly.
Did this guy say his name?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
He did not deign to speak with the likes of us.
So
Great.
basically, what happens is you guys are marched through this main road, as you can see on your map there. At the intersection here, he takes a sharp right, and you are led literally into a giant stone door set into the side of the mountain, covered just in permafrost and ice.
Question for you as
Yes.
we go.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I enjoy knowing. how's our spiritual situation looking around here? We got a lot of dead here.
No more than you would see normally in a city of this size. And nothing that stands out as unnatural. Here, I have this for you. Just once again, another little visual.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to come across any kind of spirits, and there actually will be of the good kind, it won't be. It'll be up in the mountains. It'll be closer to where the funerary and burials go. There is sometimes thoughts that the voices of our ancestors are carried on the wind up in the mountain, and so sometimes before a battle or before a major expedition or whatever, we will go up to the mountains and commune with our ancestors and with our lost ones, as sort of a preparation, clearing of this and getting the sort of good mojo.
All right, this is a fun one. I'm gonna play this as if you said this to listener because it's fun and it lets me do a thing.
Sure.
Yeah, certainly.
Listener doesn't quite know funerary customs as well. So what he says back is, the wind may carry, but mostly they tend to stay where they died rather than where their bodies are planted. You may have better odds of contacting them here in the city.
Well, this is why it's very important, though, if when a Hoverstedian falls, where they may, that's important that if their remains cannot be returned here, something that is familiar to them that they have had should be returned, because otherwise it is that their spirit may wander the earth. And so this is why, yes, at times it may be that our remains will be cremated there on the battlefield, or afterwards, and ashes will be brought back and released. But if possible, as I said, something, and most importantly, well, not most importantly, but one of the important factors as well is anything that is essentially a weapon. Their weapon that they've carried, their primary weapon. We do place much respect on that, and that will be handed down to, if not one of their trainees, to someone to carry on their legacy as well. As we see that here with my spear, this actually was my father's, and that my grandfather Jorgen brought back to me.
Are you using that ability on the spear?
I was queuing it up. What I was gonna do is, yes, the items in possession of the deceased are actually valuable indeed for contacting their spirits. I reach out a hand, like just a finger, to poke the spear. I say, may I? Poke.
Whew. Yeah, very unexpected, but yes. I have to say, I'm not without some concern, because there is some doubt around my father's demise. But please.
I reach out and I poke the spear, and I use limited psychometry on it.
All right. So a rush of fleeting images flows through your mind. Granted, you have a slightly easier time of navigating this.
I'm pretty good at rushes of images.
You glimpse images of people, most of which you don't know. You do see the large hulking man there. You see Uki. You see the faces of many Hyverstedians, and they're pretty recognizable. The sharper Asiatic type features. Many of them still have very ice blue eyes, strangely. They're very cut, they're very large, very muscular. So, I mean, obviously you're looking at a massive Hyverstedians that have come through this. One of them stands out above the others. Shillelagh's face.
Oh. Oh. Interesting.
But yeah, that's kind of what you get. It's just a blur of faces of people who have handled it.
Um,
Am I able, because listener knows a little bit about how all of these sort of meat-based organisms function. Anybody that resembles Uki very strong.
Most of them.
From listeners' perspective, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, humans all look alike.
He's really not quite as good at that as your average human.
And Lenway, you're not going to see any of that out here. The Hyverstedians are a weird culture. They don't really do a caste system. They take care of their own. If anyone like that is in this city, they are indoors being cared for somewhere. But I'll keep that in mind, though, that you want to do that should something like that present itself. Okay. So he leads you up. As you're doing this, I assume you're still moving.
I reached out and I touched it, and then this rush came over, and I'll respond to Uki, I guess, before we go inside.
Sure, go ahead.
I'll say, such power. So many have wielded this spear. It's almost like being back in the collective, there are so many.
yes, what may seem like a simple spear to some carries much. And she stops, and she's just, she can't say anything else because she's just overtaken.
Which is timing-wise perfect. So as you pause, the hulking man ahead of you reaches this huge stone door set into the side as you guys are climbing these frost-coated steps carved into the mountain itself. He lays a single hand and gives a slight push, and the doors swing open effortlessly, just pristinely, without a sound. It is so perfectly crafted that not an ounce of friction seems to hold their movement back as they slowly open up inward. He kind of looks over his shoulder and nods at you all to follow him and steps into the inside of whatever lies within.
I will hustle after. It is cold out here.
That is a very fair thing to say at this point.
Yep, and Saoirse's going in with the quickness as well.
Okay. All right. So you enter in. The inside is, the first thing you notice, remarkably warm. This structure that you enter into is literally carved into the mountain itself. And not only is it carved into the mountain, it is pristine. Those of you who have never encountered true Dwarven or Hyverstedian engineering before are in awe. You've never seen workmanship, stonemasonry of this quality before. It is an enormous single room inside of it, just with a huge fire pit going down the center, with spits of meat cooking and pots and kettles on the fire cooking. The walls are just lined with all these tables and benches that go all the way around. There's furs covering bits of the floor all over the place. And the ceiling itself is so high and vaulted that it literally stretches beyond the light of the fire and the braziers in the room. Within, you see a lot of bustling activity, a lot of dwarven people inside. You see children and you see elderly and people who have obviously suffered some kind of grievous injury at some point, bustling about, kind of cooking and caring for things and cleaning, doing this and that. And he starts just kind of casually making his way around to the right side of this huge fire pit towards the back of the hall. Is anyone not following, I guess, should be the question.
Oh, I'm right there on his right because I know he's going to have some expectations of me.
Yeah.
Before I can eat, I know that he'll have some questions.
Yeah, and you know where you are. This is Hammer Spark, so
Yeah.
he's obviously taking you to his seat of conference right now. Good call. Good call. The horse would probably not do well inside here, or at least
No, you see, I'm gonna just ride in there with it, man.
probably make a bad first impression. All right.
Doubt they have a lot of horses up here, honestly.
You see, they ride penguins.
So, you guys make your way down this long, long hall. At the very far end is this huge kind of carved-in alcove, in the back of which is this very large stone chair lined with furs. All around it, you see tables and trinkets and jugs and horns and just all these little trappings of comfort all around it, as well as many piles of maps and documents and whatnot. There's also a lot of older Hyverstedians standing around here, staring at you. Not menacingly, but like imposingly. You get the sense that they probably would not endure even an ounce of disrespect or challenge based upon the looks on their faces. They're very stern-faced. He goes down and sits down on the stone chair, kind of rubs his brow, looks up at all of you, hones in once again on Uki, leans forward and says, "All right, report."
Well, and I look at the rest of my party around me and I say, well, I left on my mission that I was given and traveled for a month and received some reports on our missing party having been sighted, perhaps near Carrick's Cross. But before I could make it there, I came across this party, knowing that my assignment was not Carrick's Cross. You had told me I should focus more on the eastern side, so made my way through the Amberhearth and Belethir ruins, and as I came upon lower to Abattoir, that's when I met up with my companions here. My intent was to report back because I know that you had dispatched other observers to the other sides as well. But we had a few mishaps along the way, as you know, with any journey or expedition. And so as our journey should take us now to the Domes of the Shining Eyes, I thought it best for us to stop here for provisions and to give you a preliminary report.
So not a single sign, no word.
I heard last that she was seen in Carrick's Cross, but no sign that I have evidence of, and no one has spoke of her. Mind you, I've only come across this party, but as we know, she was alone and isolated, and yes, that is all that I've heard. I have not seen any other Hyverstedians beyond.
This is my fault for not intervening sooner. Which, that statement causes a little bit of mumbling from the other Hyverstedians around him, which he waves off and shakes his head. The girl still remains to be found. She's a survivor. I'm sure she's got to be out there somewhere. You sure you didn't see anything that would at least point in a direction? You're heading the opposite way.
Yes, but I thought that Carrick was going to back as well.
And those
Has
bastards.
has he returned?
Of course not. You know he's not coming back until she's found. He wouldn't. Not after the way he felt concerning the way she left.
I understand. That is why I admire him as much as I do. But I have to say, I have not seen. She may not be of my blood, but she's still my sister.
My granddaughter must be found. I have to know. This eats at me. It is a great and tremendous distraction from my duties.
I understand. I do. And I felt that traveling with this party as I did, we might find news of her, but instead we came across quite a bit when it came to more of where the blight has touched and the void and just so much to tell. But I know that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear and know what has become of Chileli.
I do.
Alright, so as I recall, Uki has been a little bit quiet about what she's been doing. Is that right? Am I remembering right?
Yes.
Yes. Accurate.
So, that is almost certainly the first time Chileli's name has been brought up by Uki anywhere near us.
Yes.
Yes.
Also the first time you guys have... Nobody else has mentioned her either, so... I should just... It's never been brought up.
This is what happens when you go on a fact-finding mission and you're very quiet about it.
So let me ask the party this real quick.
Mhm.
And I'm going to let you guys roleplay this how you will. Without roles unless you feel the need to make them for the sake of your own roleplay. Is there any noticeable physical reaction to the name being dropped? And the realization of what's happening here?
I have no idea what's happening here.
This is correct. That's entirely correct.
I like to think that Genesis would kind of be surprised that that's why, that that's what they're looking into, like, because she's aware of like what happened. And
Is Genesis wearing her peacebound mask and still obscured?
yes.
Okay, so that you're good.
Listener's a really bad liar.
But he has no face.
He has no face, but he tilts his head to the side when he's confused. He does this now and looks over at Uki.
Okay. Anybody else? Saoirse?
I think Saoirse, like, she's already in kind of a somber mood, has been for, like, the past few days, ever since, you know, the whole shenanigans with Evelyn and not being able to find Kaz. And also Genesis has been seeming really distant from her, so she just feels kind of, like, sad and lonely. So at the mention of, like, Chileli's name, like, I think it'll take her a second, but she'll just kind of look down a little bit and has a bit of a sad countenance about her.
Okay. So here's...
Sadder one that she's, you know, had generally carried.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Jorgen an insight roll. Just kind of in general here. Wow.
He sees right the hell through me.
And this is kind of a group thing, we'll say. Granted, he doesn't notice Genesis. Some of you have no reason to have a reaction, and that's fair. Listener's head tilt, Saoirse kind of withdrawing. He notices.
Yes.
And he raises an eyebrow. And then looks at Uki. And then back at them. And Uki, he asks you directly, do they know something about her?
I
He
reach out and
pauses and says, I was instructed to keep this quiet because there were concerns from, and she looks around at the elders and says, from some of those who felt that she should be allowed to go her way. But no, I did not think I did not think to ask because she was when she left, it was not with an intent to travel with anyone, and I couldn't surmise her joining up with a party. But, and I turn and I look at Genesis and Listener.
Well, Genesis
and
is
Wilhelm,
doing that weird mental obfuscation thing.
and Wilhelm.
Yeah, Wilhelm, I forgot to ask you.
and
Well,
and I look and I say, do you know of Chilele and her whereabouts?
over the connection, I say, I would explain to him, but he frightens me somewhat, so it's best not to surprise people with connections if they are that frightening. Wilhelm, you want to take it?
Yeah, go ahead, Wilhelm. What you got?
well, first off, Wilhelm is wearing the plague doctor mask, so his face is covered. He was using it to keep out the cold.
Fair.
But I will remove it. I apologize, sir. We had met her. Unfortunately, I bring you terrible news.
So as you say that, his face grows like 20 shades of grim, and he stands up to his full bulking presence, let's say, rather than height, and takes the few steps down, puts his hands kind of crossed across his chest and looks at you, Wilhelm, and says, "What have you got to say, Becht?"
She has passed. We found her. She was attacked by a water creature.
So you can see his jaw working as you say this, clenching and unclenching, his teeth grinding. Found her. How did you find my granddaughter? And how do you know what happened to her if you just found her?
We encountered the same water weird and saw the damage it did to us as well. We had traveled with her to visit the temple, and she disappeared while we were there. We did not find her until it was too late. I am sorry. I know it is no comfort, but you have my sympathies, and I am so sorry, sir.
So, Wilhelm, you can feel it's almost like a heat coming off of this man. His internalized anger is filling the room. The empaths are like, it stings. It's just overwhelmingly vast, this anger within this man that is emanating from him. And right now it is directed entirely, like needle focused at Wilhelm. He's kind of breathing heavily through his nose. His nostrils are flared. You can see like his knuckles are just white, clenched on his arms that are, clasped against his chest. And you can see that his mind is just working, like how he wants to respond to this. He's mulling it over in his head. And you can't help but wonder if one of the options he's considering isn't something really violent.
Saoirse will, being able to feel his emotions like this, Saoirse will pipe up. He is telling the truth. Shillelagh. See, we were in a tavern in Carrick's Cross, and one of the somnambulists actually uttered her portion of the prophecy. And there was a Colvart Wraithguard there who wanted to investigate it, and he had one of the Galduina elves in his charge, and Shillelagh was there, and he actually hired her to help watch over the elf in this in his care, because going to follow the somnambulist prophecy and check out what was going on there was at the time more important to him than delivering the elf. And we followed the clues of the somnambulist prophecy down to the lost temple of Rokana, and Shillelagh was alive and safe. We personally brought no harm to her, but whenever we went up to explore another part of the temple, Shillelagh decided to stay behind. And whenever we came back and we saw her, she was gone. It was a water creature that had popped out of the blight-infested waters that were running through the temple. Must have gotten her. And then the same creature also got the Colvart.
So,
Sorry.
as you're explaining this, like his attention just slowly shifts to you, and you can feel the weight of it, that focus, as you speak, growing and growing and growing. And as you... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's flawlessly in character for Saoirse to completely give the game away. That is exactly what she does.
It's perfect. It's perfect. So
Uki's reaction has been at this, as she's taking this all in and kind of shaking her head in just disbelief. Slowly, like, looks at Jordan and realizes it's about to, it might get like bad. And I look and I'm meeting him and I say, Grandfather, these are my comrades. They have saved my life on more than one occasion, and I would gladly go into battle with them any day. I beseech to show mercy on us all. I feel that I have failed you by being distracted, but perhaps it's the fates that brought me to these people, to be reunited with Shillelagh and news of her. And perhaps now we can call back the rest of the family who left to find her and reunite and have a proper memoriam for her.
Okay. So let's see here. Here's how we're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very solid responses on all the cases. So it's just so that's out there before we do anything. Saoirse, give me an advantaged persuasion roll, please.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Very nice.
Solid. So he listens to you. Like I said, the intensity of this man is just... It's like gravity increasing as his attention is on you. Like, it's enough to make you kind of sweat, despite how cold it is here. He turns and looks at Uki as she says her piece, and then looks back at Saoirse, nostrils still flaring, just grim-faced, pissed as hell looking, breathing kind of heavily, his skin is flushed. He takes a step forward towards you, Saoirse, until he's literally like just standing kind of over you, looking down at you.
She'll look up with those big green emerald eyes.
He reaches up with a hand. He's reaching towards your head. Do you stay still?
She will stay still.
So he brings that hand kind of right next to your face, clenches it in a fist, shaking for a moment. You can feel like his whole body shudder. And then he releases his grip and places the hand on the side of your cheek. Very gently. And says, I understand. Thank you for bringing me the news of my granddaughter's death. And he turns around and just collapses into his chair, one hand kind of reaching up to rub his temples. He sits there for a moment and kind of waves with his other hand and says, these people are my guests. They are under my care. Uki, you are no longer responsible for them. I will vouch for them. They knew my granddaughter. You have free reign of the city. You will be treated well and given discounted prices for anything you need, at least within the Hyverstedian quarters. I cannot speak for the Kulvart, nor the Favinians. That said, you obviously have something that needs doing, and he looks at you, Uki. In honor of my granddaughter, I demand that you complete this journey that she started, apparently with this group so long ago, and bring it to full completion and fruition, and then report back here as soon as you are able with the results. Do you understand?
I do, Commander.
And you are free to go.
Thank you. All are equal under the blade.
All are equal under the blade.
Saoirse will give a solemn bow.
Good. So, is everyone leaving? It was kind of a dismissive tone you got, the gist of, but I won't force it.
So, I'd like to do something funny.
Sure. What you got?
I didn't expect it to come to this, but listener has a strange habit of collecting mementos. I think of everybody that has died. I actually do still have an item.
Uh-oh. What you got?
It was off of her gun. It was the butt plate off of her gun.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is something critical, because if you look around this hall, you will actually see around this hall the weapons of those who have fallen during the Blight and other battles as well. So there is a place of honor inside Hammerspeak for that memento of her.
Yeah,
This is actually very accurate. Yes.
indeed. So I had to go double check. I had Sugnak's journal and a butt plate.
So what are you doing specifically?
Listener's going to rummage for a moment. It's a small bag. It doesn't have much in it, so it probably doesn't take too long to find. I draw out this probably pretty rough metal end cap off the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Visibly curved inwards.
Yeah.
So, I imagine a man of arms like this might recognize it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just pull it out. I'll take a couple steps forward to his chair and hold it out in my big ol' hand.
So he's got his kind of face held in his hand. He's rubbing his temples, and he lifts up and kind of looks under his hand at what you're holding. It takes him a second. But his eyes kind of widen. And he reaches out and takes the item from your hand.
Yeah. Now that he's not quite as frightening, I'll try and open up a line to him. He may not know my people. It may still surprise him.
Okay. What do you say?
I say, she was one of my first friends. This was hers. The dead do speak through them, you know.
So you see his brow kind of furrow for a moment. He looks at the item and he looks back at you. Your whole face covered as it is.
Just this massive mummy looking at him.
And he says, "You've done me a great service this day. Owen."
I nod at him.
You have a home here should you choose to return.
Thank you. I have been without a home for some time. And I'll let him be with it.
Okay. Is anybody else staying here in Hammerspark?
I would say that his dismissal essentially is from his inner alcove, but that we can partake of food and drink.
Oh yeah. Hammerspark's
Hall.
huge.
But we are also expected to perhaps wash ourselves a little bit, like clean hands, so that there are areas where there's wash stations essentially.
There are basins. Yeah, there are
So
basins.
Because while there is this aspect of we're used to, filled conditions, in Hammerspeak, it's a bit more of a tradition in regards to how we partake of food, and how we respect this space. So it's not like
Well, this is actually a matter of cultural importance. The Hyverstedians, militaristic as they are, efficient as they are, understand the necessity of cleanliness as a means of efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
If you remain clean and healthy, you are not a draw or a drag on your community or your unit. So cleanliness and good health are very important to the Hyverstedians.
Yeah, hygiene of wounds, hygiene of food, and water.
Good dental health.
Yes, all that. But
Good job. All right, so is everyone going to sit and partake?
Oh yeah, I'm sure Saoirse is starving.
Okay. So you guys are welcome. You sit down. You have your first actual like fully cooked meal at a fire, and that involves meat and various tubers. Some of it's actually seasoned fairly well. The cooks here aren't terrible. They're just a little utilitarian. Food is meant to be sustaining and nourishing and in some way comforting, but not so much as you might find in the more creative cultures. Still good, though. Every bit
bit
good.
more rustic, hearty, stick to your bones kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But not like the tack that I was eating when I first joined up with y'all.
Yeah, like you might get a goat steak here that's actually seasoned with salt and pepper.
Yeah, I bet you they do pretty good water here, don't they?
Yes.
Nice. I'll get me a nice big jug of that.
Well, there's basins for cleaning all over the place.
Lenway and I'll just be doing our... Now, we don't really process calories like that routine.
So one thing you will notice, Lenway, is most of the people here, while there are a lot of Hyverstedians, there are also a lot of Favinian dwarves here. Most of them are either invalids, grievously injured at some point and missing limbs or faculties of some sort, or elderly, which is very rare, or children. That's almost all of the Favinians here are one of those things. They're the ones maintaining the fires. They're the ones cooking the food. They're the ones refilling the basins and keeping the place clean. It does not appear to be any type of forced labor or anything like that. They're all very content and very happy to be here. The Hyverstedians generally keep to themselves. They're very no nonsense, though not unfriendly. They will say hello and return your greetings, but you get the sense that they don't want to have a conversation with you.
All right. Then he won't really force a big giant greeting or talk, just more like a, hey, hope you're doing well. Bye.
Yeah, they'll return the greeting and go about their business. So everybody gets a good full meal, with the exception of Lenway. It does feel nice to have a cooked meal. If anyone wants to, they are welcome to make a perception check, though it is not necessary.
What? Is this for
I love
kind
those.
of... What is this for? Because it matters for me.
Just to see something.
Just to see something.
He'll never reveal it. You got to tell him what your specialty is.
Well, okay. Let me just...
I try this shit with Dungeon Delver all the time.
This is literally just to know something. It's not a threat or a danger.
Okay. Yeah, that's the important part. Okay.
Okay. So, as an listener, you both notice that Aisling does not eat or drink anything.
Sus. From me, who also does not eat. But, you know, you look like you're made out of meat. You're supposed to eat stuff.
She is sitting by the fire, smiling and chatting and being sociable and charming as ever, but she doesn't take any food or drink. She has a plate in front of her, but never touches it.
Genesis, are you still invisible?
I mean, that's a
Well, I'm
neat
not
trick. I could
invisible,
do
I'm
that one
just-
too, but
Are you still
Casually.
obscuring yourself?
Yes?
Okay, listener looked around for you again for a second. Goes, where could Genesis have gone?
It's just this nondescript person hanging out at the table, bundled
That
up.
would be Gene. We've lost Genesis and gained Gene.
Sup, Gene?
I'm sorry if this is cringe for anyone. Like, I'm just trying something new with the
It's your character. You go with it.
I'm catching, you know, some faint master notes.
Background character number 69.
Character imperceptible to
Yeah.
normal
I really
eyes.
just play the same character with different skins. It's fine.
So the meal goes through, uneventful. No problems. Uki, as always, you're very knowledgeable about the location. This is home. So if anyone has any questions, she would be the one to ask. What do you want to do from here after your bellies are filled? Lodgings will be provided if you need them. FYI.
I would definitely say that I know that Uki, there's certain expectations at Uki that, how do I say this? Yes, it is hoped that I will return at the end of my mission, but we always want to make sure that we are. I think one of the things that I'll have to do before I depart is visit with our scribe and historian to convey to them some of the findings that I had in my travels.
Okay.
As sort of just that knowledge transfer. That is something possibly that I could, if other members of the party wanted to contribute, because especially if it's anything related to Shillelagh, that's something that could be done. I also would like to visit my mother, who is most likely in the training arena, but I think I'd like to get some rest beforehand because I know the first thing she'll want to do is spar. And then also visit the market, as well as my favorite weapon master after I see my mother, because she'll probably give me grief about one of my weapons.
Especially if you don't see her first.
Yeah. And because she's the one who's going to tell me, be careful of which vendor to go to right now, who's been on the up and up.
Very true.
So that's my list, and lodging, sleeping.
That definitely works. So before we go through this, do you guys want to take our union break first? A little early?
Yeah, let's go break first.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be better.
Well, how early do you guys need to?
I was thinking we should probably dip at like 11:30.
Okay. So yeah, that works. We'll take a quick 5-10 minute break. Come back and we'll go on from there.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen at home, we'll be right back after this word. And I've forgotten again, so let me do it really quick here. I do want to give a quick shout out to our actual sponsors.
Yes, real physically extant sponsors.
And this is the trick here. Rather than doing it at the beginning, I'm doing it now when we have people here so that everyone can hear it. So, first and foremost, I do want to give a shout out to Find Familiar Coffee, one of our grand sponsors. If you like caffeine and amphetamines that speed you up, Found Familiar Coffee is the way to go. And if you don't, I'm sure they have decaf. Go for it. It's gamer-themed coffee. What more do you need to know? Go to their website, findfamiliar.com, I believe it is. Findfamiliarcoffee.com. I hope it's one of those two. And definitely check it out. You definitely want to get some of this for your house. If you do that, members of the gender that you are interested in will be interested in you as well. This is a guarantee from the church warden, who is an expert on such things. Don't take that to heart. Our second sponsor is...
Not legal advice.
Not legal advice.
Parody. Do not attribute this to Found Familiar, etc., etc.
Exactly. Our second one is Skull Splitter Dice. Skull Splitter Dice is dice that you can literally use as a holdout weapon in a pinch. These are master-crafted dice. These are the ones that will save you in any game, in any situation. Keep a bag of them on you at all times. Not only will they make sure that you can roll your way to success, they will also make sure that you can pummel an opponent if somebody tries to mess with you in an alley or street. Once again, not professional advice. But definitely check them out. Skull Splitter Dice are probably the greatest dice being made in the world at this present moment. Last and not least, I do want to give a shout out to Roll20. Click your token first. Roll20 is the VTT that we use here at Featherfall Tabletop. I use it pretty much exclusively for everything. As you can see, it works tremendously well for homebrew content as well as it does for pre-generated content. They have a vast variety of games available that you can use through it, both on their marketplace and to generate yourself if need be. Roll20 is the way to go. I don't care what anyone says. I will kick people in the PP if they say otherwise. Once again, that one is actually professional advice. Yeah, you can quote me on that one. I will kick you in the PP if you use something else. That being said, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch the dial. See you soon. And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are, once again. So, you guys have had your meal, full bellies. You've been granted a place to rest your heads if needed, and the chance to do whatever you need.
Ah, wonderful.
What would you like to do first? I know Uki had kind of a plan of action in mind. Go see Mama first?
Yeah, not the first thing I want to do, but
Okay, well, what's the first thing you want to do?
yeah. No, I think that's good.
Okay.
I think it's good.
Not a wanna do. That's a have to do.
That's a have to do. Yori would want me to visit the scribe historian. Mama would say, "Come visit Mama."
Yeah. What was Mama's
Like,
name?
Actually, it's mother's respectful. So, mother's name is actually, oh gosh, I just had it's here. I'll put it in the. It's Kayala.
Kayala?
Yeah, so it's Kayala.
Alright. Kayala. Alright. So you're on your way to Mama's house. Is everybody going with?
Actually, we're going to the training grounds.
Mm-hmm. Where you were expecting to find
still,
her.
what time of the day is it?
Early morning.
Yeah, she's at the training grounds.
Oh, so we get a
Could she
long
train-
rest before this.
Do you want to go take a long rest?
Was that a long rest between dinner and then the morning?
Yeah, what time? When did we arrive?
You know what? I'll give you a long rest. That's fine.
I would like to do a thing.
You can have your hit point. What's your thing?
Attuning to the staff.
You're gonna try and attune to it?
Well, since I passed my role to
Mhm.
identify it and everything, so I was at the time told that all I needed to do is attune.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean like you were gonna fail. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay. Got a little nervous there because I do tend to roll poorly sometimes.
No, that's fine. You can attune to it. You've been eager to get your hands on that thing.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. You can attune to it.
Right.
All right. So yeah, you'll take your long rest. Have your hit point.
And return my ability to obscure again, because that returns at the long rest.
Okay. So, is everybody going with Uki, or are you splitting up?
I'll follow along, but as we go, I sidle up alongside Wilhelm. I say, "Friend Wilhelm,
Come meet my mother."
Actually, was going to try to separate.
before you go then, I say to you, Friend Wilhelm, I cannot find Genesis."
Huh?
Oh. I don't recall seeing them since we got off the ship.
Guys?
I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm not obscured anymore. I assume we've rested, so I have to decide to do it again.
Oh, I thought you said you did do it.
We have
Oh,
not received a long rest since the last played scene. Church deemed that we had a long rest before we got here, essentially.
That's true.
Okay, so I have not upped it again. So
Are you letting it fall away, basically?
right.
Okay.
I see.
That way
Oh.
I haven't used this tournament.
There you are.
There you are. I was looking for you at several points.
I'm right here.
Have
Where'd the
you...
other?
Listener waves his hand in front of you a couple of times, and he puts it behind you. You can tell he's judging whether you're becoming translucent. No. Still solid. Still solid. Not Oum yet. I was wondering for a moment if perhaps the effects of performing the thought stream were beginning to show on you. Anyways, were you able to observe our traveling companion, our guest?
Yes. Well, actually, I went to do that. She was sleeping. And she'd been in her quarters the entire time. So I was waiting for her to wake up, and then we arrived here and stuff started happening.
Yes, I have kept an eye on her as we go about here. I did notice she does not eat, or did not eat at least. Struck me as somewhat unusual.
It's not something I've noticed either. I mean, not that I've noticed in normal people. That's very strange.
Very good. Very good. I feel better knowing that you are here.
Bless.
And just to answer your question, Lenway, the entire city is laid out in such a way that it is a strange uniformity. The buildings look alike. There's no distinguishing marks on any of them that differentiate one from another, aside from a seal or a crest that really only a Hyverstedian would be able to read. With the exception of a few of the shops. Beyond that, all of the actual logistics support is done out of sight, intentionally. It's a strategic element of Hyverstedian culture. So everybody is making their way.
I would like to ask Uki where to find the medicals. If they have other benevolence, I'd like to go talk to them. If not, whoever does the medical treatment.
Oh, definitely. So we have the Stonebridge Benevolent League Hospice, which is just right out. It's actually your first left here out once we walk out of Hammerspeak.
Yep, right here.
Yep. So this is our central medical facility. It's also the benevolence do research and development. I might have them take a look at that nasty wound on my leg while we're here. Because I still have a little bit of reaction for when I got snagged underwater.
This is true.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
Yeah. So that probably actually should be the first stop.
Okay.
Because the question is, can we go in there and have some treatment to heal up a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, they are one of the better benevolent stations. Actually, Wilhelm, you would have heard of them. The Stonebridge Benevolent League are only rivaled by the orders in Armun. But that's primarily because these are like battlefield physicians. Like they're practiced and well versed in dealing with the worst case scenarios, whereas the Armun Benevolents are more like general practitioners dealing with day-to-day civilian life.
Perfect.
So,
That's exactly who I want to go talk to.
so if we go in there first, is that something that we could actually, that we can have an opportunity to heal up some hit points? That it's from, say, something that you roll as the DM rather than it have to be another player?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Let's go get checked out, everybody. We just got a hearty meal. Let's go check out. Have doctors check us out.
So, en masse, we go to the Stonebridge Benevolent League Hospice.
I tag along, but I won't really need any conventional medical treatment. I'm going to try and find a way to get some sun without freezing to death.
I will say that there is no direct light here. In fact, it's actually still fairly dark.
Yeah, it is kind of early, isn't it?
Yeah, you're getting into those extreme northern climates.
I'll just have to wait it out. I huddle around my sunstone.
I love you, little sunstone.
Your happy light.
It's keeping me going.
So, here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna speed things along a little bit. And I'm gonna be generous here. We're gonna heal you guys up any missing hit points you have to start with. To full.
What? Like to full?
Mm-hmm.
Woo. We got state-of-the-art medical facilities here. Well, state of the battlefield.
Yeah.
Facilities.
They are definitely state of the art still. Like I said, this is one of the best medical facilities on the planet, literally. Does anybody have any long-term lingering effects that they would like to have looked at?
Like a friggin' cough, me and Wilhelm?
I mean,
Damaged leg, I guess.
Missing
Saoirse breathed in some of that volcanic ash.
Okay.
She was hacking up along over that, so.
All right. So let's see. So we'll start with. Well, hey, let's start with Genesis and Wilhelm. You want to look at your breathing issues from the chlorine, the oldest of them.
Wilhelm will wait to the last.
Okay.
But
Genesis does not mind going first.
All right.
This has been bothering her for so long. Ah!
So Genesis, what they're going to do is going to give you a breathing treatment. It's going to help a little. It won't cure it completely, but it will help a little. Just because it's been so long at this point. The issue right now is short of performing surgery, you're dealing with scar tissue in your respiratory tract.
It's not good.
It's okay. So you feel a little better. The cold air is nice too. All right. Who else do we have? Saoirse.
Breathing in the volcanic ash.
Okay. Oof. Kind of the same as Genesis. They'll give you a breathing treatment, which will alleviate the symptoms. But you've got some scorching down in there from the heat that you pulled in. Likely won't be near as nasty in long term as the chlorine. It'll probably heal over time.
Okay.
But this will alleviate the symptoms for a while.
Sweet.
Who else?
I got a leg wound from a spear.
Alright. That's an easy one for them. They'll be able to clear that out.
No more damaged leg.
Nope. They'll take care of it.
Hooray, I can dash in extreme action again.
Anyone else?
I'm good. I'm vibing. I'm a plant.
Uki, you wanted to have him look at your leg?
Yeah, I haven't looked at my leg.
Okay. They managed to debride the damage, which is painful. You'll take about 3 points of damage from them carving off damaged skin. But when it heals, aside from the scar tissue it leaves behind, you should be okay.
Right.
Alright. And Wilhelm, you're kind of in the same boat as Genesis. At this point, it's such an old wound. They can give you a treatment that'll alleviate symptoms for a while, but it's scar tissue in the lungs.
Yeah, I was actually more just interested in speaking to them.
What do you want to speak to them about?
Well, in particular, the first thing is how to treat diseases of this particular area. Obviously, they're going to have a lot more experience with the treatment of cold weather diseases and injuries than Wilhelm. So I want to find out and learn from their expertise.
Okay. They can give you a crash course on dealing with frostbite and exposure, hypothermia, that type of thing.
Yeah, because
it's nothing really new for you though. These are basic practices. It's granted they're a little more experienced with it, and they might be able to give you a slight bonus, a little trick and tip here and there from actually hands-on dealing with it regularly. The diseases that they deal with here are a result of being so close to the blight. They are constantly fending off things crawling out of the ephemeral sea. It's a variety. A lot of it you deal with already. Deathless Plague, the Breathless Plague, most of the things you've already dealt with. Muckblood.
Just seeing it as the difference between book knowledge and real-world knowledge.
Yeah.
They're going to have the real-world experience that Wilhelm won't. And he was looking...
They get void pneumonia around here, real nasty.
I'll give
Exactly.
I'll give you a bonus if you have to deal with any cold-related injuries. That's fair.
Yeah, and I'm not even looking for that. It's just Wilhelm would ask, what don't I know that's going to be helpful?
Yeah, no.
What can I do to keep them alive?
Like I said, they're used to dealing with exposure, hypothermia, frostbite, that type of thing. So if you have to deal with any of those, you'll have a bonus.
Cool. Yeah, and then Wilhelm will make himself useful as well if they'll allow it.
If you're willing, they'll put you to work.
Yeah, got no problem. As long as we're here, I'll be nurse.
All right.
Nurse Wilhelm.
So they'll put Wilhelm to work. The rest of you want to head out to the arena?
Uki's in the lead.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Off you go. What was that? There we go. Okay, so this is where you're headed from there. The training field, basically. So as you approach the training field, you immediately see troops in formations doing routines and exercises. They seem a little brutal from an outsider's perspective. They do not pull punches. They do not hold back. You see a lot of people just get knocked flat, dazed, tripped, cut, bruised. It's happening. But at the end of every fight, one helps the other up, and they move back into line and start over again.
What, they're training with live edges?
Yes, they are.
Oh, jeez. These guys are serious.
These guys are slightly foolhardy, but don't tell them that.
And they're all ages as well, though.
Mm-hmm.
What age do they start training at? We talked about this a little bit.
Depending on the physicality and emotional maturity or intellectual maturity of the individual, probably between 10 and 12.
Yeah. Which essentially my mother is respected as being she is able to train at all skill levels, so she often is she does work with the very young. But she can take a grown man down easily with a spear.
Yes. Mama is not small.
And when I say spear, we were talking about this. It's a type of, somebody help me here. It's a type of martial arts where you use, essentially you're using staffs. It's
There are several. Most forms of kung fu have some variety of staff training. Several forms of European martial arts have it as well.
yeah. So bojutsu. So it's using a bow. I think is what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be the Japanese version.
Yeah.
All right. So, as you approach the training grounds, you kind of crest that edge, and you're looking down. And you're seeing all the trainees at work and beating each other up over the din of the noise of clashing weapons and flesh being pounded and people grunting and crying out and war crying at each other. You just hear this Miska over the din of it. And you see this very large woman just like plowing through people towards you. Miska.
Slightly alarming. I look around for said Miska and worry.
She strides directly up to Uki and just bundles her up in this enormous bone-crunching bear hug.
Good to see you too, Mother.
She drops you down, kind of straightens her tunic, brushes herself off, clears her throat and looks around at everyone like she's just noticing you. You have been gone for too long, Miska.
Not long enough, it seems.
You have grown very small. You're not eating.
Well, if out in, there are those who think we live in the wilderness, but being out in the desert, volcanoes, underwater, not the kind of sustenance that we are accustomed to here.
I will have words with Jorgens for sending you on this fool's errand. It's good
It
to have
wasn't a
you.
fool's errand. It was important for the family. Because that is what we are, yes.
And did you find her?
Sadly, no. My companions here, my comrades in arms, who I found, brought sad news of her demise. And I am to leave again soon with them to continue the mission that she had taken up with this noble party.
You see her face kind of turn stern for a second, like she's about to offer a rebuttal. But her nature takes hold. She bites her lip. Just kind of shakes her head. And she looks at you, Uki, and says, "Have you been training?"
Not as much as I should, no. It's
Right.
very difficult in the confined spaces and without an adequate partner.
All I
to
hear is excuses. She
Well,
looks.
none as formidable as you, Mother.
She looks around at the rest of the group, kind of shakes her head. She looks Az up and down for a second. She says, "I can't really expect any of these small people to take care of you."
I would like to try and respond to her, can I?
Yeah, you're welcome to.
I open up a connection and I say, "This is wise. I tried to hit a ghost with a stick once and all the fish fell off of it."
She looks at you kind of confused.
True story. True
What?
story.
Yeah, it was. She looks back at you, Uki, and says, Miska, you keep very strange company.
Well, yes, the company that one comes across when traveling the Blighted Lands is indeed very unique, and sadly, they all aren't here with us. And she pauses because she is thinking of Kaz. And she says, "But these comrades have been a true comrades in arms who have saved me and helped me through my journey, and I am confident that they did the best they could for Chileli, and will continue to do so as I finish the mission, as commanded by the Commander-Chief. But dear Mother, now that the mission has ended to find Chileli, could you please give word to Kurik upon his return?" That I ask him to wait. That the answer that he's awaited for, I have prepared for him.
And may I know what this answer is?
The answer is that yes. You know how he has respected and shown me much protection and respect since I was a young child, as he did to his sisters. And it is only being out alone for over a month on my own and away from family, and then joining this party, that I realized how I feel I've come to a time where, yes, I would like that companionship as well.
So be it.
Aww.
You have my approval.
Same noise.
But first, Miska, show me what you have learned. She motions towards the training grounds.
Well, I will first show you what I've acquired and set it aside because because this is not the fight. This is not the place for this. So I kind of show her pitch. I take pitch off, take the scope musket off, everything, and I'm holding nothing but the spear that had been my father's, but that also Chileli had been trained with as well by my father, and so this is what I have as my spear, essentially to use this in a matter of the bow jutsu, and using that as essentially what trying to do is to be able to knock her off her feet.
All right. So she squares off with you with her staff, and she kind of grins. She looks over at Az right before they start to spar, and she winks at you.
Wink back. Flirting with your mom.
All right, give me an initiative roll there, Uki.
Initiative roll? Okay, let me.
Oh, you're gonna go first. Mom's being generous.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, roll to hit.
Okay. And I'm doing this as a two-handed.
Okay. Subdual, I assume.
Yes, subdual.
Okay.
So normal roll, right?
Mm-hmm. 24.
Ooh, fancy.
You definitely smack her a good one. She grunts and takes the hit, and immediately, is that your only attack?
No, I'll do it I'll do a second one.
All right, go ahead.
Ooh.
She dodges the second.
Okay.
Is that it?
I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more.
Go ahead. Oh,
No, pretty good.
another one. All right, so yeah, you catch her the second time. She kind of grunts and takes the hit. That it for you?
I'm gonna do one more
One more.
because I had a big meal.
Okay.
Actually, I did that one last one with one-handed, so I'm gonna do this last one two-handed.
All right. She manages to dodge that one.
Okay. And I will say, I'm feeling winded because we've been underwater. We've been in a volcano. So being back here where the air's a little thinner, I'm feeling just winded. So I'm gonna be like, and that's it for now.
She looks at you and says, "All I hear are excuses," and just barrels into you. She barrels into you hard. Let's see. What's your AC?
My AC is 14.
Oh, you hit. Oh, you hit. Maybe
Well,
even that one.
Yeah. So
Mama puts me in my place.
she hits you 3 times. Each of these is going to be at +5 for damage. So 6. Wow, that's a lovely one.
Jeez.
His
15.
mom.
Chonk. Oh,
Good
chonk.
night.
Tell me how you really feel.
Wow. So, what was that? 11, 22, 27.
Dude, 27 points of
Subdual. It's subdual damage.
subdual. Okay.
Yeah, she's just knocking you around.
Oh, got it.
And it's just a blur. She comes at you with this grin and just whop, 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 whop. And then backs off, kind of grinning. You are still very slow, daughter.
Well, I think never mind. I was gonna say I think it was that full meal I had. All I hear are excuses. Yes, mother. I'll go sprint up the mountain a bit. I'll be like Rocky Balboa.
Gotta go do your road work.
I'll go run up Light Cap and back.
That's all right, daughter. You've always had your skills placed elsewhere. She says, "Take your musket.
All right.
One more test."
Okay.
Do you go grab it?
Yes, I do.
All right. She goes across the yard from you.
Oh,
Oh,
it's good. Sorry.
that's all right. We can
Go ahead.
use that roll if you want.
Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
go.
She goes across the yard from you
Huh?
and picks up a snowball and hurls it directly up into the air, like as hard as she can. And that was your roll to hit it.
Yes.
Which just shatters the thing.
Mhm.
A little flurry falls down from where it once was. And you see her kind of smile. Almost a little bit of pride that she's trying to hide there, and she nods at you.
Is she gonna throw up 2 more and I have to double duty with the fit pistols?
No, she's satisfied.
Good.
She's
Good.
satisfied.
Well, it is 11:30. Shall we end it there?
We can.
Apologies.
It's alright, we
Yeah.
can. We can if you guys are ready. We'll go ahead and call it for the night. We've settled in. What we can do next time we come back, if you guys want, we can role play out any shopping you need to do.
Yeah.
Or we could do it off screen. It's up to you. The map is available through the World Anvil if you want to take a look at kind of the theme of the shops that are there. Other than that, keep in mind you do need to decide where you go from here. There are options. You can get back into the Orti and try to go through the water. You're welcome to go through Blightcap into the Fovenian realms, try to make your way through the caverns. Or you can even try to go overland and claw through the God's Teeth Mountains and see if you can find another way. It is entirely up to you what you do from here. All three of those options, and even fourth ones if you can think of one, I'm sure have tremendous risk, as this is a tremendously risky world, and you are in a very inhospitable place. But options are open to you, so think about that over the next 2 weeks. And of course, those of you watching at home, thank you so much for joining us. This has been always a lot of fun having you guys here. We will be back Wednesday for Tomb of Annihilation, Thursday for Wild Beyond the Witchlight, Friday we're back with Star Wars, and then next Saturday we'll be back with Sigil Confidential. So definitely stay tuned. We also have some Brindlewood Bay on the horizon, the Halloween edition. Definitely don't want to miss that. Stay tuned. Check our Discord for details. We do have all kinds of one-shots and alternative games coming up. This is going to be your chance, viewers, to get involved in those. We do recruit through Discord. So stay attentive and keep an eye out for those. A lot of really fun alternative games coming up. And we will see you guys soon. I think we are going to raid the Forgotten Tales. Why not? I have no idea what it is. I know they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Sounds good to me. Does it sound good to you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Seems good.
Let me type this out, because typing is important. I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, look at me. I'm noobing. Ignore that. We're gonna try this one more time. Raid has been created.
You got it.
There we go. We are on our way out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us. We'll see
Thank you,
soon.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Are they not doing anything?
I think. Did it go?
Yeah, it went over.
Oh.
Maybe they've ended. Oh well.
Might have just ended.
I swear it says that they were on there. They probably just ended as I went through. Can you believe it?
That's
Rip.
safe.
Oh well.
So, yeah, this went really well. Thanks